I know you've been watching the news. We'll continue to share reflections on the Derek Chauvin trial. As we look at what's happening in Minneapolis, this whole process will have a tremendous national impact on how police officers who engage in excessive use of force are treated in states and cities around the country.
The former Minneapolis police officer is in jail awaiting sentencing, a jury convicting him on all 3 counts of murder and manslaughter in the death of George Floyd. We're taking a closer look at what this means for cases to come and for sentencing day. Joining me live this morning with some legal perspective and analysis, Atlanta attorney, president of the National Bar Association, and chair of the Rainbow Push Coalition, C.K. Hoffler. Good morning to you, C.K. Thank you again for joining us this week.
Good morning.
So we've heard a lot of talk about the cell phone video and also the importance of the Minneapolis police chief testifying, crossing that blue line there to speak for the prosecution's case here. What do you think sealed the prosecution's case for a guilty verdict?
I think it was really the combination of a number of factors. For sure, the most compelling evidence was a video, 9 minutes and 29 seconds of just violent, oppressive conduct by Derek Chauvin. I mean, that was a very strong and compelling piece of evidence. But that coupled with, as you said, the chief of police and rank and file police officers breaking rank to say that the conduct of Derek Chauvin was not accurate, not correct, a breach of the standard, and was basically wrong on so many levels, and identifying with specificity at what point he should have stopped with the knee to the neck. Mm-hmm. That was very compelling. But it wasn't just that. It was having 4 strong medical experts that set forth really the medicine of how he died and how he didn't die. And then, of course, finally, the fact witnesses. The fact witnesses, people who testified, who actually saw what happened. And then I should actually say, not finally, but you had strong prosecutors. You had excellent lawyering. And so the totality of that picture, with the fact that we are in a state of mind in this country where social justice is permeating, I think resulted in the verdict.
Derek Chauvin being the first white police officer to be convicted in Minnesota for killing a civilian. What do you think this case says for other police-involved killings to come here? Because there were such extenuating circumstances here, like other police officers testifying against another police officer, you don't see this every day. So do all of those factors have to line up to get a guilty verdict later on down the line, do you think?
I don't think all those factors have to line up. And I think the message is there's hope. I do think this is a turning point as relates to police brutality and excessive use of force for this reason. A strong message has been sent to the police unions. A strong message has been sent to law enforcement. And again, this doesn't take away from the phenomenal police officers who are out there serving this country day in and day out. We're talking about the rogue officers, those that are using excessive use of force, those that are killing and murdering people every single day, especially Black and brown men and women. That's who the message is going to. And we have to have widespread policing reform. It's not enough to just have one strong guilty verdict across the board. There's got to be policing reform, and I believe this is the first step to accomplishing that. And so I think there are a lot of things that have to take place for people to realize the hope and for communities to believe that the police are not the enemy all of the time, because that's a pervasive view. So I think there are so many things that will happen and that shall happen as a result of this. And I think for law enforcement, this is a warning that enough is enough. And when there are rogue police officers who every single day violate the rights of citizens, Black and brown people, they are put on notice. Because if it could happen in the Derek Chauvin case, it can happen in other cases. And I don't think it's going to take the alignment, the perfect alignment of the evidence as it did in the Derek Chauvin case, because all eyes are on what happened. And unfortunately, this has happened before George Floyd was killed, and it's still happening now. We saw during the trial where another young man, Dante Wright, 20 years old, was shot and killed by a police officer. And so and there have been 64 shootings and killings by law enforcement during the pendency of the trial. This is a crisis. This is a pandemic, and it's going to require large measures to turn the tide and for there to be justice overall.
All right, we got to start from somewhere here. C.K. Hoffler,
We do.
we appreciate your time this morning.